here we are, and it's time to get starched. Today, I want to show you guys a really unique way to train external rotation of the shoulder. This setup is quite different from the setups you'll see on the internet, and it's not going to work for every person, especially if you have shorter arms, but if you can get into this position, it's quite awesome, and it's going to really target the subscapularis. Now, the subscapularis sits on the front of the shoulder blade, and it internally rotates the shoulder. So this is going to really focus on that. Now, we're going to use the base position from our FRS training, which is going to be the bear sit. So if I like to do this up against the wall. If I go into a bear sit, which is basically an elevated butterfly where my knees are at 90, I'm going to start with one of my legs a little bit further in. I'm going to take this arm and I'm going to thread my hand underneath my shin, and then I'm going to start to bend my bicep and elbow around 90 degrees. Now, the elbow doesn't have to stay at 90. You can mess around with different angles of elbow flexion. Once I'm here, I'm going to try to help get that hand up towards the knee, and I should already be feeling quite the stretch in that subscapularis and through my internal rotators. Now, you can see my shoulders dropped, so to intensify the stretch, what we're going to do is I'm going to get up nice and tall. I'm going to take this leg out and away, and then I'm going to try to open my chest to the other side. So if I do all three of those things, so if I open up tall, if I bring this hip out and away, and then I start to open my chest away from the stretch, I should find an incredible stretch. And obviously I can play with the angle of my spine. I can laterally flex away or into the stretch. I can move my arm up and down. Now, when it comes to getting further into the stretch, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be internally rotating. So I'm going to be taking my forearm and fist and ramping up a contraction into my thigh. At the same time, I'm going to be driving my elbow into my adductor. Now, with this stretch being quite intense, I would ramp this up slowly because most people have never dedicated any amount of time to targeting the subscapularis. So let's go through that again. So I'm going to get in a bear sit. It doesn't have to be the widest one you've ever been. I'm going to take my arm, I'm going to thread the needle, and then I'm going to assist my arm into a little bit of elbow flexion. Now, I could even stretch like this if you feel like it's a good stretch. But for me, I'm going to take this out a little bit wider. I'm going to raise my shoulder up, and then I'm going to turn my chest away, and I feel an incredible stretch that is very unique. Now, to ramp up my contraction for my pails and rails, or maybe you're doing a little bit of the crack method, we're going to be slowly driving your elbow into the adductors as I wind up a flex into my outer thigh and shin. I'm flexing, 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 building up that contraction safely. And then as I go deeper in the stretch, I'm going to unwind or open my chest away. I'm going to try to raise my shoulder up, or I can mess with taking the hip out a little bit wider. That is going to be a unique and fun way for you guys to target your shoulder external rotation, and that's how we